Well, it's another scorcher here in... Wait, no, we're not in Michigan yet. Toledo's... No, we're in Toledo. We stayed in Toledo last night. We left Ohio late. We were at the water park all day. Got something to eat and left Ohio late. Now we're heading towards... Now we're heading towards the ball game. I told Ollie we go to the Detroit Tigers game. The Blue Jays are in town, so it made it all worthwhile. Tickets shouldn't be expensive. Two horrible teams right now, so it should be easy enough to go. We're on our way to IHOP, and I said, you know what? Amy can drive. My co-pilot's up, and I'm gonna do some of my work here. Got a top 10 list. These are, now it was easy to whittle down a top 10. Obviously, some of the horses that took up 15 or 20 or 22 didn't race as good or got beat this week, and top 10's top 10 for a reason. These are top 10 horses that either raced fantastic, won, or a couple of them finished second, but raced very, very well. You'll see. Some of the horses like Rose Run Versatile didn't make the list. I'll Play It Alone. He was sick the other day, didn't make the list. Sebastian Yu made a break. Sebastian Ray got beat. Spirited Dio got beat. So it was easy enough to whittle down that top 10 list. Now, thankfully, most of the horses that I would say raced poorly this week or raced a little lackluster all had reasons. There was no, geez, that horse just raced bad moments this week, which made me feel good. Obviously, it doesn't really do much for you, but it made me feel good. So, like a horse like I'll Play It Alone. I'll Play It Alone raced and scoped sick afterwards. Sorry about the rattling, but scoped sick afterwards. A very good question came in this week. Somebody had said to me, why don't we just scope all the horses before they race? Two very good reasons for this. One, sometimes that mucus is sitting far enough down in their lungs, you don't see a whole lot of it until they get to top speed. So you might see a little bit in their throat, but not really enough where you'd say, oh, we got to scratch that horse. So it might not be that productive. Secondly, it can be a little irritating sometimes when they scope them. Now think, they have to go in through their nose and go into their airway with that camera, you know, that long camera that they have. So it can be a little irritating also too. So that's why we don't, obviously we rely on horsemanship. And, you know, I'd said to somebody the other day, you don't know all the time when the horses are sick. If they eat their lunch, they don't have any mucus, they seem bright. For instance, I warmed up Ailsun myself the other night. I thought she felt like $1,000,000. In fact, I had said to Jason, I think she might have the best showing of all of them the other night. And she ended up 5th and was full of mucus afterwards. So it's
Welcome to Michigan.
Welcome to Michigan. It's not always easy to just say we can do this or do that to know. It really isn't. So, you know, I can't blame Jason if I couldn't tell that Ailsun, if something was wrong with Ailsun. It's pretty hard to blame Jason after the race. So they'll bounce back. They have 2 weeks. It's not the end of the world. It wasn't like they were dilapidated after the race. They just didn't have the same air that the other horses did. And you could see some other horses in Ohio that had raced sick. Just look at Compass Rose DC's race. She came 32 seconds, and there was one horse closing in on her. One. So that's a combination of the track, and I would say maybe a bug going through the region. And then it spreads, different variations of it go around. You look at Spirited Dio and White Tiger, we didn't know what happened. Were they just bad that night? Then we got them back to Ontario, coughing their heads off, mucus pouring out of them, start of the virus. So, as long as there's an explainable reason for these horses not racing as well as they did, then pretty hard to be upset with them. So I was able to whittle it down to a top 10 list. I think it was a pretty fair list considering how the races went this week. Our number 10 horse was finished second in a Sire Stakes in 156, a trotter. So pretty top 10 list, pretty strong, still top to bottom. Number 1, she deserves it. Never made the top 10 list, never made the top of the list in her life. She deserves it. She's undefeated. Compass Rose DC. Regardless of what you say, I had said to somebody, they asked me, you know, she come 31-4 and looked a little flat. I can assure you it doesn't say that on the check. It says nothing on the check about how she raced or what she did. A win is a win, and when you can find your way to the winner's circle, you're doing a very, very good job. And after the other night, the only horse, I believe, still undefeated. Am I incorrect? I think so. The only horse still undefeated in our ranks is Compass Rose DC. She belongs on the top this week. Sure, we could talk about the trip Knockdown Dragout went, or Globetrotting went, the 2 wins by Capistrano. Oh, Capistrano's undefeated. The 2 wins by Capistrano, but Compass Rose DC won the gold division, the top division, the Ohio Sire Stakes, 2 of them in a row, and she belongs on the top. In second is the, also, all I do is look at the sheet, is the other undefeated horse we have, Capistrano. 53-4, didn't just win. You know, Phil let her loose in the 3rd quarter a little much, and maybe he wanted to, and then she was collared halfway down the lane, beat fair and square halfway down the lane, and fought back to win. Horses don't do that very often, do they? You could see that she was headed and fought back to win the race. Winners win. Both these fillies are still undefeated in 2019. Coming in at number 3, we had a number of horses that finished second and raced well, very well, but really blue chip finished second in a track record. 1:56 in Yonkers is the most ridiculously fast mile for a 2-year-old. That filly that won that race was probably one of the most impressive miles and effortless miles I've seen from a horse going that speed in quite a long time. So really blue chip deserves to be in 3rd, and right behind her is another filly that deserved to be up near the top, Knockdown Dragout. She was not comfortable the other day. She was worse than she was the last time. Andrew was really working hard to get her feet under control. They've been a problem, but you look at the races in Philadelphia, and I said this the other day, baby. You look at the races the other day in Philadelphia, how many horses made breaks? This filly had a legit reason to run all over the track and behaved. She had a reason to be hot and bothered and be really hard on me and pull on me. Instead, she was quiet as a kitten. I ended up exactly a perfect spot, right behind the favorite, the one to beat, that beat us last time. Then the horse in the 2-hole exploded, turned it into a 3-hole trip. We ended up first over and second, finished second in a very, very good mile in Philadelphia. That's number 4. Number 5 is one of the most impressive miles I've ever seen a 2-year-old trotting filly go. You guys can't see it because when you pull up the replay, it doesn't show you how far back Globetrotting is. Look at my phone's crashing already.